All right. We are live with my guy, Jack of Bridge First Insurance. He is a asset to me in my business and with my agents, and we get a chance to chat a whole lot because we share an office. And so I wanted to bring him on here today so he can tell you a little bit about himself. Let me turn this off. My bad. Jack, introduce yourself, man.
I just did the same thing.
We're learning, right? Go for it.
That's right.
Introduce yourself.
Uh, yeah. So hey, I'm Jack Cordes. I'm with Bridge First Insurance. We're an independent insurance agency based out of Alexandria, but we write business in D.C., Maryland, and Virginia.
Sweet, sweet. So how long you been doing that?
Yeah. So I mean, I started with insurance basically right out of college in 2010. Uh, was with what they call a captive company, exclusively represented one company for about 3.5 years, and then finally kind of said, hey, put my money where my mouth was, and along with my partner Dave, we launched Bridge First Insurance, and we've been in business about 6 years now, and never looked back.
Yeah, you guys are. When I see you guys, I know you guys are hustling, man. You guys work really, really hard, man. I thought I was the first one to the office, man, and I see you guys in there before me. So let me ask you a couple questions, man. Where are you from?
Yep. So I'm a local guy. I was born in Fairfax Hospital. I grew up in Annandale. I went to Woodson High School in Fairfax. Ran away to Ohio for a couple of years for college. Was too cold, and I came back home. And I live in Arlington now. So
Sweet.
basically born, raised, live here, probably gonna die here. So I'm a local guy.
Hopefully not right now, man.
Yeah.
So
Well,
let let's get into the business side of what you do. And I have a question. I ask everyone this one question first is, what does your dream client or customer look like? Like the perfect one.
yeah. Well, part of when we became an independent agency, which is really just a fancy way to say that we represent multiple insurance companies, and we, help people sort of navigate through the insurance process and find them the best coverage, the best pricing, help advise them on making sure they're in the best place for their auto, home, life, business insurance. And so, part of being independent is that our target market is broader, and we can help. Every insurance company sort of has their niche of their like individual ideal client, and the rating variables that yield the best pricing with them. And so now we really are more of like matchmakers, uh, opposed to having a narrow product line with a narrow target market. We have all these different companies and kind of help the people find the best match. So really so long
It's okay, man.
long answer to short question or whatever, is really anybody who is looking for a better option on their personal or business insurance. Usually those people are at a life event. So maybe they recently got married, they recently bought a house, they recently had a kid, they moved to the area, some sort of life event, and they're kind of reevaluating their insurance situation, and value having an advisor who can make sure that they are in a good place with their insurance. And and then obviously we look to get on the most competitive possible pricing and stuff as well.
That's right. So okay, let's get into the nitty gritty of why we're here today. Um, how has the COVID-19 pandemic directly affected your business?
Yeah. Well, I'd imagine, as everyone you're interviewing is saying, it's had a pretty dramatic effect, obviously, right? And for one, it's taken us almost completely virtual, as it has with a lot of businesses. But almost immediately it's the effect that it's had on our clients. I think at first we had a lot of the businesses that we work with and insure reaching out to us with questions regarding like potential coverage or stuff like that related to COVID, just making sure that they were properly protected and if there's anything we could do to help them out there. Also just a lot of our individual clients with questions about their policies and making payments, or maybe their inability to make payments, if they're not working, or any of that kind of stuff as well. And I think just in general, everyone taking a closer look at their financial situation, and insurance is a big part of that, both with how people spend their money and also how people protect themselves. So it's been a transition to a lot of virtual stuff.
Yeah.
And then just the hours really haven't slowed down much for us, just because it's just a lot of inquiries, a lot of people with questions,
Right.
which is what we're here to do.
So your phones are going off the chain. Let me ask you, how did you and your partner shift or pivot to make sure that when this is over, Bridge First is still open?
Yeah. And, I think one of that was the transition to, fully virtual business for our entire team. So that's, me, Dave, Wade, Alex, all the Bridge First guys. And, I think we were well positioned to make that transition, because when we initially started the agency, 6 years ago, it was based out of our apartment primarily, and we had a virtual location where we could meet clients if needed. But Dave was also my roommate, and we were pretty much sitting at the kitchen table,
right.
On a daily basis. So it was virtual from the get-go, and it was sort of then sort of went into like brick and mortar and our partnerships with Keller Williams, which we value very much. And then, now just temporarily kind of transitioning back to that virtual world. Something else that we've been doing with clients is like, video proposals, or a lot of Zoom meeting. Everyone's Zooming these days. So doing a lot of that kind of stuff. And we use Salesforce, so we have a virtual system to kind of coordinate everything with our team.
Oh, good.
That we're doing for our clients. But and I mean, everyone's got to make that pivot, right, to the virtual format right now for the most part. And I think another thing, with us more specifically, is a lot of like kind of getting back to the basics of a lot of like where normally, a lot of our leads are kind of passively coming in through referrals or whatever the case may be. It's definitely been a lot more of an active approach, looking for new clients, whether that's following up with people that we've quoted in the past, or, a lot of just talking to our existing client base and addressing a lot of their needs. I would say just a much more active lead gen is a big part of our pivot.
So with that I coach in our office, and one of the things that I tell people, we call them hay calls, HAY, like how are you?
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of how are you calls going on?
Oh yeah. Sure. Yep. A lot of just like checking in, and a lot of clients are reaching out to us too, because I mean there's a lot of stuff with insurance in the news, and so people got tons of questions about that kind of stuff, and and commercials and everything. So yeah, a lot of just how are you doing, and I think the value of the insurance agent is really kind of like never, is really shining through and really never been higher, because people like having that person that they can reach out to, that they know and that they trust, and that is looking out for them. And, even though we're all socially distancing, we're as connected as ever. And so I think, just having those people and that personal relationship right now is so huge to so many people. And it's
Well,
where
let
you
me
can
give you a
find really.
plug real quick before we go on. Is that like you explain things in English? I referred my nephew to you who wanted to do some things, and he was at the time he was 20. He was headed to the Navy, and you explained things to him that he could understand, and he wasn't going to get that service if he went on one of the big boys' websites, right? Um,
Right.
and he may have signed something he had no idea what he was getting, and you explain things to him in English, and I appreciate that. And I have another question for you. And the whole purpose of me trying to set up some of these interviews is so maybe you say something that clicks with another small business owner, and maybe when you watch one, something clicks with you. So what advice would you give other small business owners uh, on what anything they can do during this pandemic?
Yeah. And well, for one, I'm it apply for the PPP loan, obviously. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
that's something everybody should be trying to take advantage of right now. But I think on a maybe a more philosophical level, I would say, don't give up and persevere and shine through. And I think on the other side of this, the people that are the true professionals and really think about how they can add value to, for their clients are going to come out of this like stronger on the other side. It's going to be a major thinning of the herd, and I think you've probably been preaching that from a real estate perspective is like, hey, it's going to be, tougher times, but it's time to, sharpen the axes,
That's
and
right.
the people that come out of the other side are going to be kicking ass and taking names, and they're going to be better for it and stronger and sort of, leveraging, new technologies or whatever. A lot of it out of like, they say like so many new technologies and all this sort of stuff are sort of developed during times of war out of like total necessity that end up kind of changing everyone's daily life thereafter. And so, I mean, just like look at this. I mean, like look at us like doing
Yeah.
this Zoom call right now. I'd never even been on Zoom,
Right.
And
Yeah.
in February of this year, if you had been like, hey, let's do a Zoom call, I would have been like, I don't know what that is, really,
Yeah.
And like now it's something that we're leveraging on like, I mean, essentially like a daily basis. And so,
Every day, all day.
like, yeah, and this is like a great way to connect with people and clients, like when you can't always be there in person. And so, um, I would definitely say just like don't kind of give up and persevere, embrace the situation, and just like look for the positives. And I think also I'd tack onto that is like, just like it, be there for your client, like genuinely be there for your clients and your people, and express sympathy for their situation. And I think like in times like these, if you can really kind of shine through with that you care, and like people will remember that forever, basically.
Yeah, that's a great. I mean, that's the message we're preaching, and that's a great message. Now, I have a curveball for you that I want to throw. I'm not afraid to talk business during this, and I don't feel like it's insensitive. What is it that we could do right now to get you more clients?
Yeah. Thanks. Well, I mean, hey, this is great. Any sort of like exposure like this is awesome for me. I'm sure there's people watching right now being like, hopefully a couple of them are like, oh man, this guy's not, hopefully they're not all just thinking that I'm rambling on.
You're not rambling, man. You're giving us some value here, man. We're going to learn a lot by the end of this.
Yeah. And so just that opportunity and exposure for, Bridge First is huge. But, everyone, like we said, everyone is sort of like looking at their, looking for ways to reduce expenses. They're looking at their financial situation. I can help pretty much everybody pays for insurance, whether it's their auto, their home, their life, their business, whatever. And it's a great time, if you have a little time at home to evaluate that stuff. And so we have Erie, we have Safeco, we have Progressive. I'm going to look at all these options. I'm going to do the shopping part for you. Usually what I say is like, hey, if you can email me a copy of your current policies and usually like your driver's license numbers, I can put together, I'll spend my time. I'll do 5-10 different quotes for you, find the best deal, the best coverage with the best company. That's a great match for you. Doesn't take a lot of effort on the
Yeah.
individual's part.
And oh my goodness, here's a crazy thought is that if someone sends you their policy and their driver's license number, like you said, you do all that for free. And if they commit, like here's an idea. You're home doing nothing for an hour. Let's send Jack your insurance policy and your driver's license number. See if he can save you a couple bucks, right?
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean, there's no obligation to switch. So, I always tell people like, hey, I just appreciate the opportunity. That's all I could ever ask for, and you could ultimately make the decision.
Right.
If you want to switch or not, and I'm purely here just to advise. I always kind of look for like, hey, if there's any sort of gaps or little ways to improve your policy, or maybe it's you've got coverages that you don't need or whatever the case may be, but I always like to just review that, and if we've got the best deal for you right now, great, and if we don't, I'll the next time around I will. So
now before we go any further, guys that are watching live on any page, if you have a question, post it in the live and I'll ask Jack for you. Sherry from Sherry Welsh just wanted to say it's always better to be able to call someone you know and trust with questions rather than an automated customer service number.
Yeah,
she just gave you some love right there.
Woo, love that. Yeah, and I think like our clients kind of get the best of all worlds because like my clients will have like my cell phone, so a lot of them will call me, text me if it's a quick question, this or that. We have the office available 9 to 5, and then the insurance like providers themselves have like the 24-hour claims or customer service lines that you can do or manage your account online as well too. So I always there's no like additional cost to having us as your agent. You just kind of get all that with the policy.
Sweet. So let's shift gears and let's go to a positive note. What are you doing right now that it's helping people during this pandemic?
Yeah, thanks. And so we're trying to do a lot of stuff on an agency level, insurance carriers, period. This is the part where like I don't know if you can put like drop a pin in the video and be like, hey, skip. If you're just trying to skip through, like skip to this part because here's like some of the good info. So a lot of people have probably seen like a lot of commercials right now. A lot of insurance carriers are giving back like some of the premium or a portion of the right. I'm already seeing like the commercials now on TV where they're kind of like saying how they're doing that, and you hear a lot of these big numbers like $600 million giving back or 400 million, $1 billion. I heard $1 billion, $1 billion like being given back to policyholders. And partially that it also will like how many clients do you have? What does that actually break down to per person? And so I've seen like some companies are doing maybe like and this makes sense too because in the sort of unprecedented time, like the amount people are driving has been drastically reduced, like essentially like never before.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies, because of that, less accidents, like instead of just pocketing, exponential profits, they're giving a lot of that money back to the people. And so, yeah, a lot of companies are doing like 15% of like 2 months premium. That's kind of been like the metric for measuring it is like, okay, a percentage of a couple months premium or something to that extent. So I know that like I think it's kind of gets hard because we have all the companies we represent to differentiate between them. But I know, for example, Erie is doing 30% of 2 months premium for their clients. It ends up being basically like 5% of the yearly premium back, which that in the end, is it gonna like make or break you financially? Probably not, but I guess it's a good gesture of hey, they're giving you something back, so that's like what a lot of the carriers are doing. I'd also, anyone watching, I'd encourage them to check and see. A lot of the companies right now are saying like, hey, if you download our telematics app, which is the one that will look at like kind of your driving, different driving habits or whatever, and potentially give you like additional discounts that way. So like I know Erie has one of those, and it gives you gift cards for like good driving habits. So yeah, it's like $10 a month that you can earn in gift cards per driver. So if you've got a couple drivers on your policy, there's some good things there. Also, I know like Erie is, and we write a ton of business with Erie, a great company. Erie is waiving medical exams on life insurance because people maybe they're reevaluating their life insurance situation, but they also don't want to be like meeting up with random people to do these medical exams. So if you're under 55, they're doing up to 20-year policies, $500,000 in coverage, and they're bypassing the medical exam. So no, you don't have to pee in the cup or any of that kind of stuff.
No,
It's just
no rubber glove.
Exactly. You'll make no.
None of that. None of that.
Yeah. So, like that's really cool, and they're still gonna like look at your height and your weight and your health and that kind of stuff. If you smoke and that kind of stuff, but bypassing that medical exam is a huge part of the process. So that's really cool. And then a lot of companies as well are holding payments if you're in a if you lost your job or you're just in a financial position where you don't think you can make your payment, they're holding payments over. I know our agency is trying to do a lot of stuff too, individually reviewing policies with everybody on like a case by case basis. And then kind of last thing with that, Bridge First Insurance, we are in partner with Erie Insurance, gonna be basically giving away like $1,000 in gift cards. I think we haven't even officially announced this yet, but we're gonna basically take 10 local small businesses that we have a relationship with and get like $100 gift cards from each of those. And then just sort of on social media or whatever, we're just gonna be like the post, and we're giving away $100 gift card to like this restaurant or that restaurant, and just to help create maybe a little awareness for them and marketing for them, and and just support the local businesses and community and all that kind of stuff too.
That's huge. That's huge. Some of these local restaurants need that. That's really cool. So,
Yeah.
Okay, well, listen, that was great. Is there anything else you want to share with people before we dive into some more fun questions?
Yeah. I guess I guess I would want to turn around and give a plug for you too, Drew, and just say, yeah, oh yeah, you're a rock star coach. Every pre-pandemic, 3 times a week I walk in, you're already there in the office with the music going and breakfast, and you do all these like awesome trainings that I don't sit in on all of them, but anytime I can get in there when you're talking, so many good things to kind of take away from that. And our business period has been partnered with Keller Williams like going on 3 years now, and it's just had such a profound impact on the way that we do business. I would say I'm on the KW Kool-Aid myself, even though we're not, we are not Keller Williams. We're just like a partner, but just the way we operate and run things is just so influenced by Keller Williams. Just, it was almost like this just such an inconsequential like benefit, that we weren't expecting, but we've just, by being around and part of it just for so long, we've, so many of the good things have rubbed off on us. And just, I think you're a great coach, and I see you helping all these agents, and, it's just, and you do it selflessly, totally. So it's, I think what you do is awesome.
Thanks, man. Let's change that subject. Where did you get the name Bridge First?
That's funny. So, Dave and I were in cubicles, like basically right next to each other,
right.
And at our prior employer, and we were just we had a couple of names in mind, and as we were like punching them in to get our incorporated, a lot of the names were taken, and so we were like trying to communicate in our old office, like back and forth, like coming up with new names and stuff like that. And I think we just kind of wanted something that sounded established in the beginning, and we were originally Bridge First Financial.
Right.
And we just like the acronym of the BFF, where you're BFF in insurance. It's something that we used to always say, and so that we liked the acronym, and it just kind of stuck. And Bridge First Insurance, here we are.
Sweet. All right. So, what's the last show you and your fiance binge watched together?
Well, we're watching the Michael Jordan, the new docuseries on the Bulls.
Very good.
And honestly, I recommend that to anyone. It's getting me, it's already getting me hyped up to just like the day after I watched that, I was like, I need to go be the best insurance agent that ever lived.
You didn't try to go
like
dunk,
MJ.
Don't try to go dunk and hurt yourself, man.
Yeah.
No, but one thing I will say, and I told this to Eric, my partner. He and I are we're buddies. And I told him that one thing MJ did was he tried to make everybody better around him. And he didn't he believed in people more than they believed in themselves, man. Because he made guys better around him. And I think that's anyone who runs a small business or even a big business, they need to make the people around them better. Right. And that was huge to me. That was a huge takeaway from watching that.
Yeah,
he would punch you if you didn't do the right thing. He'd punch you, right? He'd punch Steve Kerr, right? Like Eric's like, man, do what I said. Right? Eric's ready to punch me, right? So
yeah,
it was cool. And then, what's the last book you read?
Let's see. The last book that I just read. Let me see. Well, if we're counting books that you listen to, as well, yeah, because the best thing that ever happened to me, and that's an exaggeration, because it wasn't the best thing that ever happened to me. But when the Sirius XM on my car expired, and I was like, man, what am I gonna do now? Because I used to always just listen to ESPN radio.
Right.
But when that happened, I just started downloading books and doing podcasting, listen to a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, and that's just been awesome. So let's see, I'm trying to find the last book I read because it was a really good one, and I don't know why I can't think of it right now. It's not exactly a good plug for it.
That's okay. Remember the content, not the title. You use Audible?
Yeah.
I just got hooked up with Audible too, so I enjoy it. All right, so we'll.
Oh yeah, I got it. I'm sorry, I got it. I got it, and it was a good book. And I don't know why it didn't come right to my head. Never Split the Difference. Okay. Have you ever?
By who?
You know that book? It's by Chris Voss. He's he does hostage negotiations for the FBI, and obviously when you're doing hostage negotiations, like splitting the difference is like half the hostage. If you meet in the middle, it's like half the hostage is dying. Yeah. So, it's all about kind of negotiating and
Perfect for a small business owner.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's great. I highly recommend it. So.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna dive into that one next. Okay. Biggest sport missed.
I mean, I'm a huge baseball guy, but I think, I mean, missing March Madness altogether, because that's just such a electric time of the year. That's just so fun. I would say missing March Madness for sure.
All right. Last question, and then I will let you tell everybody where they can find you. How has the COVID-19 jacked up or changed your routine, your day-to-day routine, Monday through Friday?
Yeah, I'll admit it. At first, it was sort of trying to find and develop that new routine, because I had a really good one, and I had I like to go work out in the morning at the gym and then get my day started. I'm in the office early and this and that, and so as soon as that kind of went away, and it was like home workouts or running around the neighborhood, which I hate to run. I hate running. That kind of threw me through a loop initially, but I think I've now kind of found my new routine for now, which is I still try to get up early, make the bed, do a home workout, and then kind of like get into my day.
Right.
So uh and
it's gonna be important as small business owners that we always keep a routine, right?
Absolutely.
And powers our day.
Yeah, and in our business too, like, because we every week we would do our like Monday meeting where we're all getting together and we're discussing like what's going on for our week and what's going on with the business. And at first we sort of had a little difficulty like reestablishing that kind of stuff, but now we're just doing that all like we're doing Zoom now, and we're doing them a little bit more frequently just to kind of check in with each other and see what we got going on, all that kind of good stuff.
Perfect, sure. Jack. Thanks so much. Tell everybody, man, and I'm recording this, and anybody who's on, where they can find you if they have any questions or if they want to get their policy checked out and see how you can save them money. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Thanks. Yeah. So I'm Jack Cordes. We're Bridge First Insurance. So you can go to our website, www.bridgefirstinsurance.com, and you can request a quote there. Just check out and learn more about us. We're all over social media, so you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and all that kind of stuff. My email is jack@bridgefirstinsurance.com, and by all means call or text me on my personal cell live from my home here, 571-212-8881.
Awesome. Thanks everybody who watched live, and the recording will be up soon. And if you have any questions, reach out to either one of us. Thanks, guys.
Drew, you're the best. Thanks for featuring me and sharing this with your network and everything. You're the man.
Thanks, brother. Let me stop it real quick.